Tell us about your squad for this weekend. How's it looking?
The squad is looking okay after this midweek game against Watford, where I think we should have made the 3 points, but we didn't in the last part. So far, the players have come back in and they seem to be very fit. Except that Falcao is not in and Remy is not in. For the rest, it seems to be very good. Pedro was not in by injury. He did a good training this morning, and we'll see how we will react on this training. But I don't think there will be big problems.
How far away do you think Remy is?
He will be involved next week.
And Pato?
Pato is in, let's say, in his pre-season, and we have made a plan, a training plan, which he is doing now every day, at least once, but most of the days twice training, which means that he is, getting his fitness, but not full fitness yet. So he needs to be fine-tuned. We made a good plan, and he will not be in for the upcoming few games. We want to have him fit, because not going too early for the risk of injury in this tough league.
You talked about having to manage Eden Hazard carefully. Is a match against Manchester United the perfect game for him?
Yeah, every game for him, this quality player is perfect, and whether he will start, we'll see from the beginning. But he came in the last game, I must say. I played a little bit more than a half time in the FA Cup. Bringing him back on a good level is also key for us, and not also with him not taking big risks, because many games are coming up and we need him bit by bit more. Yeah. But we'll see whether he starts or might come in.
How have you found John Terry this week? I mean, after the game at MK Dons, obviously he came out and said that the club hadn't offered him a new contract. I know that you spoke about that earlier this week, but in training, how is he? Do you notice any change? Anything different?
No, I don't notice any change, because first of all, he's a very experienced player. Has gone through all good things in the storms in football, which means that he is very experienced. So you don't notice different. John, he likes to train, and he's having his laughs, etc., etc. So I don't notice any differences.
Do you have any updates for us on his contract situation?
No, we talked about it last week, and we don't have any updates regarding this.
What sort of reaction do you think there might be from the fans, though? This is the first home match, first game at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, that's true. He was well received in Watford. They supported him, they cheered at him. So I think we will have a good reaction on this.
Chelsea, of course, still in the bottom half of the table. Manchester United aren't in the top four, but this is still a big match, isn't it?
This is a big match. Big clubs through the years, big match. So, yeah, both Manchester has to compete and likes to compete for the title this year, and they must go into the Champions League positions. You know the history. I don't want to go very deeply in this. The recent history of this club, of Chelsea. Of course, they have underperformed. We're getting back a bit on track, although I like to have a little bit more victories instead of, let's say, the unbeaten draws. We had some victories, but I think the team is step by step more stable, and now we hope to go into a beautiful springtime.
Why do you think they have underperformed?
Why they have underperformed? Well, difficult for me to judge on this, as I have enough not sorrows here, because I like the job very much, and the players and the staff, they're working with a lot of ambition. So I'm not going into the problems from other clubs as well. When I do this, the cameras go always.
You've come up against Louis Van Gaal throughout your career. What sort of relationship do you have with him?
I have a professional relationship. We haven't met that much in our professional life in Holland a few times, but not. We have had a long career both, but we haven't met with a lot of frequency. In Spain, a few times, and in Holland a few times, but not that much. We have a professional relation.
You have a good record against him. You've won 4 of the last 5 meetings between you. I don't know whether you know that, but
I don't know that.
What do you think that might be down to?
Well, I don't think we must overvalue in this the role of the managers, coaches, because I think at the end, of course, the managers with the staff prepare their games, also focused on the opponent, also focused on how the way we like to play, and that's it. But at the end, the players have to execute what you're doing in training and in team meetings. So we must not overvalue, in my opinion. That's a battle between managers. It's a battle between the two teams.
What do you make of his situation at Manchester United?
Yeah, difficult. We can talk the whole morning about Manchester United, but I'm wearing different color. So I cannot go into there. Every club during a season has some periods where it's they might worry a bit. We have that had as well. So I don't like to go in too much in other people's kitchen.
Do you think he's been unfairly treated though?
Well, you can go on, but it's. He has to perform. That's as normal as we have to perform here as well. There's pressure. There was and still is big ambition, and they have to cope with that. The pressure is on. Yeah, that's on everyone. But if you have the possibility to go into the first positions, yeah, then the pressure is on.
What's the target for you? Sorry.
The target for us.
Do you think you can finish in the top 4 as well?
Well, it's difficult this week. I hope my not assistant is calculating. We need 3.1 now average, and before a few weeks ago when we said now when we want to get in 4th position we have to win, and then the average was 2.7, and now it's 3.1 to get there because of the draws. We are unbeaten, and we have made some victories. We are through in the FA Cup, but to get on 4th position you need to win. So that's very, very, very difficult. And the other 2 legs are FA Cup, which we have now to confront Man City, which I consider as a very early final. And Champions League, that's where we're aiming.
Jonathan. Too many draws, as you say. Why do you think you'll not be able to finish sides off?
Well, when we go back to the last game, the previous game was okay against, with all the respect, a lesser opponent. But when we go to a strong Watford team, I think we managed to do in the last 20 minutes what we like to do is have the game with some danger in the first half. We like to have the games played and then finish it off. Also, when we don't do it in the early part, in the later part of the game, which we didn't do. First of all, we were very close. We were not having this ultimate sharpness to finish it off. And I must say that my former goalie, he was in extending his legs and arms, etc., etc. So I think that was one key. And we have to finish it off more. I said before the game against in the FA Cup, we must not just depend on Diego regarding the goals. They responded. Oscar responded after that. So we need the attackers to finish it off.
With Pato, you said you judge him when you've seen him training. So what's your initial assessment?
Of course, he's skillful. That's what we know. Of course, technically very good. He's ambitious. He's ambitious, of course, which is normal for me. but he needs more physical fitness at this moment. He has played his last game, I think, 28th of November, and then holiday because it's different season, and so it's a kind of pre-season for him. We like to pressure him, but we must be careful not going over the top.
But will he be able to have any impact? He's not playing this week, and they won't play the next week, so there are only 12 games left.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to have time to have any impact this season?
Well, I think and I hope so, and but that's why we said it's good to have him on loan and not just already in a next situation where we have or the club has offered him a longer term. So it's good from both parties. They can see whether they fit to each other's yes or no.
What have you made of the emergence of Chinese football and the financial clout that they appear to have? Is it a concern for everybody?
Oh, it's a concern. It shows that China is very serious to get into international football, the recognition of the football world. And I know before I came here, I had some contacts over there as well, that they are very keen not to bring in big money, because it's relatively easy to bring in big money and to buy star players, especially from this league or other big leagues with big money. But I think that it's equally important for China, for development of Chinese football, to bring in very high qualified people who know to educate and how to ground academies, etc., etc. I think this is also a point. You cannot just, in my opinion, not just buy with a lot of money big star players and think that you have grounded Chinese football. I think basic things, and they are not so popular, of course, but I know from their side that even from high-ranked government people, they are having the approach, a very serious approach towards Chinese football, and I know that even they like to bring it on university and schools by obligation, football, and that's a step in a direction which will not be profitable in tomorrow, but in the future, yes.
But they do seem to be going down that route, don't they? From where we can see it, they are chucking money at, as you know, Ramirez.
Yeah.
And there's stories about
Yeah.
Oscar and 75 million.
Yeah, we don't know, and in this specific case, just Ramirez, we can say that he had a great offer, and everyone has agreed. And Oscar is just, for me, speculation, and we don't go into that.
Jerry, in the back, yes.
Guus, slightly off topic, but you've been a manager of Real Madrid. Zidane has been there now for a month. It's a tough job. How difficult is that job, and how difficult is it to make that transition from player to manager?
That's not easy. It depends on how the big players cope with their status, how they cope with their status as big players. If and I don't give an example because I haven't. If players think that he can do the job overnight, being player and being manager, then I think he might be mistaken. I think the players, having these great careers, great experience, they must bring also a foundation in knowledge, how to practice, how to prepare a team. So they need with a big reputation, they need to have a good course, and many of the players do, and we have done it when I was working previously in the Dutch Federation. Then we had the idea to bring in Gullit, Koeman, Van Basten, Neeskens, Rijkaard as ex-players, and bring him in a shortened, intense course in the federation. First, the reaction was, we might not need all, but after having these classes, they were convinced to do it, and it paid off.
And Zidane.
And it's the same with Zidane. I think he's I liked him. I loved him as a player, seeing him play. It's just it's beautiful for the eye, I think, those kind of players. But I think he has now made. He knows this club. He was in Castilla in the second team. He knows this club, and yeah, he can make a good progress, I think. And on top of that, what is important? Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry. I'm talking too long.
No, please
On
go
top
ahead.
of that, no, I will quit, no problem. On top of that, I think the personality is important. How do you cope with your being big star, and can you go? If not, if you aren't, can you go with both feet on the ground? That's important to be a big manager as well to start.
Thanks.
Floor is yours.
Guus, what's the nature of Pedro's injury, and how long do you expect him? Is he going to be in contention? Yeah.
We'll see how he reacts on this intensive training this morning. He was very alive, so we'll see how he reacts in this afternoon and tomorrow
And
morning.
what is the injury?
He was in the, what you call it, the inside of the upper leg. It's
Groin.
groin, yeah.
Okay. And in terms of Oscar, are you able to confirm that there was a bid of that magnitude for him?
No, we, and I think the club doesn't know anything about this, so we're not going into speculations.
Okay. In terms of John Terry, how concerned are you that the supporters express themselves towards John Terry and in support of the team, or do you think they might vent their anger towards the hierarchy for what they perceive to be a legend bowing out?
Well, first of all, we said that it's not, but I'm not going into too deeply. It's not closed, but on the other hand, the team, the spectators can react and may react as they wish. But I think they did in Watford. What they have to do is support John and the team. That's how we have this conception.
Thank you.
Do you feel that the strikers at big clubs are feeling the pressure? Because we look at the Premier League and the likes of Vardy, and the free-scoring strikers are from lower clubs perceived to be.
I don't know if this is stress causing that they're not scoring every week. In the case of Vardy, I think he made this beautiful goal without thinking, and that's what Oscar did in the previous game as well. I don't think they feel that pressure from the outside worlds. I don't think so.
But you've talked about striking being an area that you want to address. You want more goals. Apart from sort of calling it out here at press conferences and you saying that Oscar, responded, what else are you doing on that front?
Well, we practice. We prepare. We prepare them tactically, and that's what we do. And then we are depending on their contribution on the day.
So does that mean that you're encouraging maybe more shots from outside, from distance, or are you still encouraging?
Well, whenever you can score. We do that. We don't say don't score from distance, but we practice on this, and it's their decision. In the moment they think they can provide, they must provide.
And you don't feel like Diego Costa's shouldering most of that responsibility? You feel that's spread?
Well, he is used to do that, and it's good. But we are not worried. I'm not worried when one game he doesn't score. That's what I meant before. If he doesn't score, then other players must take the opportunity.